That's my quant. Your what? My quantitative, my math specialist. Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face. That's very racist. Look at his eyes. I'll give you a hint. His name's Yang. He won a national math competition in China. He doesn't even speak English. So yeah, I'm sure of the math. Actually, my name is Tyler, and I got these new hipster glasses, so please stop calling me the MIT neurosurgeon. Thank you. All right, pros and cons of working in prop trading. So I'll start off by saying that the industry has evolved quite a bit. The industry grew out of the pit trading culture. The spectrum of the culture in the industry is probably like pit traders and all their shenanigans, and then, you know, all the way to like modern tech firms, because these trading firms have kind of evolved into tech firms. Most of the trading firms you know of today, like jump trading, are basically grown out of the pits, you know? Like, it's called jump trading because people would jump in the pits to try to get the attention of the brokers. And DRW, Donald R. Wolfson, was a really good pit trader, and pretty much all the founders of these well-known trading firms are pit traders. That's kind of the history. But also keep in mind that if a trading firm has more of a pit culture, it doesn't mean that it's more backwards, because some firms just utilize the pit more in their trading strategy, whereas other firms don't. And so that's one of the main differences there. But yeah, let's get into it. I created a little list. I wrote it on a napkin. All right, gambling. So there's a lot of similarities between trading and gambling, which makes sense. So, you know, you're going to see a lot of gambling in the industry. During March Madness, there's going to be like a chat room where there's like $20,000 worth of action just flying around between brokers, traders. And what's fun about it is that they'll make these unique bets that are kind of based off of trading concepts, you know, like butterflies and call spreads. They'll make these kind of interesting bets that you won't see in normal gambling circles. But to give you a little background on how pit traders quote options markets, so there's like a certain lingo where they'll do like, oh, I'm 95 at 105, you know, like if something's trading around 100 and you want to buy it lower and sell it higher, you might say like, I'm 95 at 105, 100 up or something. And that's basically saying you're willing to trade 100 of them on the bid and the offer. So people use this kind of lingo and all kinds of things, right? So if, you know, you leave work and the traders are waiting for the elevator, they might say, what's your market on the elevator getting here? And someone might say, I'm 10 seconds at 30 seconds, you know, and they'll be like, I'll buy those, you know. And so they just kind of live and breathe this stuff. And like if they're like the trader's on like a Tinder date or something and the girl's not replying, you'll be like, what's your market on this girl texting me back? You know, I'm 3 hours at 10 hours. And the guy might be like, I'll buy those. I'm 1 week at never, you know. So there's just all this like funny lingo, and people get really into it. It just kind of like spills over to their day-to-day lives. And what's really interesting is these like unique prop bets that they do, you know, like, so in the pits, there's this guy who said he could eat 100 chicken McNuggets in 10 minutes. So people were all like, what? And after the market closed, they brought over 100 chicken McNuggets, and there's all this action, people crowding around him. You know, there's like literally like $10,000, $20,000 worth of action, people making side bets. And then he just starts eating, and there's someone like timing him, and you know, it's just like part of the pit culture, you know, very much like frat house culture, high school cafeteria culture. A story that happened at my particular firm, this one junior trader was talking to the head of the desk, and he was saying he likes tartar sauce, and he was like, how many packets of tartar sauce you think you can eat in one sitting? And he's like, I could eat like 40 packets within like 10 minutes. And the guy's like, sold, you know. So, you know, sold meaning like, you know, it's probably lower than that. And so there's this bet where he, the sun's coming out. There's this bet where he basically, we all crowded around. I have a picture of it. And I think he got $300, but there were all these other side bets, so he might've made more. And then we timed him 10 minutes and see if he could eat 40 packets of tartar sauce in 10 minutes. And yeah, he did it. But there was like another contingency where he couldn't puke for 15 minutes afterwards. So there were like side bets on that, like, oh yeah, he'll do it, but he'll puke within 10 minutes after and people were taking action on that. So yeah, it's just an interesting culture. It's my dog. But it's kind of like you know, yeah, I still call it a con, because like, you know, a lot of people can't control their gambling impulses, so it like spirals out of control. But you know, a part of it you could say is a pro, because it's fun, right? It's fun to kind of like, you know, bet on things and watch someone eat packets of tartar sauce, and you know, and it's probably fun for him to make $300. It's not like anyone told him he has to do that. You know, that would be toxic as hell, but he wanted to make $300 and he thought he could do it. So he definitely puked after that 15 minutes, but still, I mean, you know, he was a junior trader. That $300 probably, went far for him. All right, pro, location. So most trading firms are in like the historic downtown area, like Chicago's Board of Trade building is like one of these like really fancy, cool architecture buildings. It's right on LaSalle. People take their wedding photos there. It's a really cool place, and it's right in the middle of Chicago. And Wall Street in New York City is in Manhattan. And the location of these trading firms is, because they grew out of the exchanges, they're pretty cool. When you compare it to like a lot of tech firms that are in the middle of nowhere, like I guess like Twitter's in San Francisco, but then like Google will have shuttles if you live in San Francisco, so you can take the shuttle to their campus and then take it back. Location matters. So most trading firms are in cool cities like New York City, London, Singapore, Hong Kong, Chicago, and they're normally downtown. You get to kind of hang out with like what I would call finance celebrities. Like I got to run into Rick Santelli a lot. Sorry, the sun is like hitting my neck now. This is really bad timing for my video. I got to meet Rick Santelli. I have a picture with him. He's like a big deal in kind of financial news. He's a fun guy. And who else? I got to meet like John Nigerian. He's like this big jacked former football player that became like a big deal in the options trading scene. He's probably worth like $50 to $100 million. But yeah, there's only one main gym that all the traders use, like Buckingham Gym, because it's like right in the SIBO building. And so my locker is actually next to his, because my last name is Masuda and his last name is Nigerian. I think it's alphabetical. So I took a picture of that. But I got to meet him at like conferences and stuff, because he was trying to like pitch this options software to our company. So they were like, hey man, you want to go out and like see if the software is any good? So I got to meet him, and it's like good networking opportunities. I was never much of a schmoozer, but for people who are like try to like do all that like transactional stuff, like, oh, let me get buddy with this guy, like it's cool to get to meet these powerful people. All right, next point, frat culture. So this is a con. A lot of the more pit centric trading firms, they have a frat culture, and they'll haze you. They'll like walk by and like fart on you, like crop dusting, I guess they would call it. Just like they'll give you demeaning nicknames. Like my buddy, they called him Farm Dog because his dad was a farmer and he was from a small town that was, big on farming. And they'd be like, Farmy, get me coffee, but their nickname for me was like Piston, which was like whatever. Like I don't really mind that, like Detroit Pistons, I guess. That wasn't really that bad. So I was grateful. But yeah, the frat culture, the hazing, the nicknames, they'll make you like run little errands for them. Like, oh, I forgot to like pay the cleaning lady. Like she's going to be there in an hour. Like go take an Uber to my place and hand her this $200 or whatever. And one guy had to go down, and like one of the partners lost a bet to one of the brokers in the pit. So you had to go down and give him like $2,000 in cash. That's probably a little scary to walk around with that much money. And just like they run errands for them and stuff, so the frat culture, the hierarchy, that's a con. Another con, drug use. There's like heavy drug use, which makes sense because trading is such a stressful industry. A lot of people smoke cigarettes, and then they that evolves into chewing dip, because people they don't want to. Obviously, you can't smoke indoors, and so you got these like partners like chips chewing dip. Like they just like have a little cup, they're spitting in it, and it just kind of other like junior traders want to emulate them. They look up to them, so then they'll pick it up. They'll be, hey, what kind of dip is that? Oh, that's really cool, man. And you'll see them doing it, and it's kind of like not good, right? To spread that kind of attitude. There's a heavy drinking culture. The bar series in the Board of Trade building, they're always serving double shots by default because people are so stressed out when they're like making and losing fortunes every day. People smoked like weed. I can't say I didn't partake in that, but yeah, like a subset of the firm would like to smoke after work. So we would just go, when the markets closed, there was one guy whose dad was like CEO of a big company. So he was loaded, and he had this ridiculous apartment with like floor to ceiling windows overlooking Grant Park and Lake Michigan and Buckingham Fountain. You'd see the fountain like shoot up every 30 minutes. And so we loved to go to his place, and he would host, and he had these like cool smoking technologies, like this cool volcano thing. And so we would like to smoke at his place every day after work. Yeah, definitely other people partook in like heavier drugs, but I was never really involved in those like sub circles, but it was definitely a thing. It kind of comes with the territory. Pro dress code. So a lot of these firms have what I would call an inverse dress code. So it's like Partners basically look homeless. Like one of the partners would wear pajamas to work, and and this yellow shirt that says Cheerios, um, and this bummy like ski hat and this like scraggly ass beard. He literally looked homeless. And if like the doorman downstairs, if they like didn't know him, they probably wouldn't let him in the building. But this guy pulls like $2 to $5 million, I think. At least that's what I heard from someone else. Like every year, his bonus is like $2 to $5 million, and he comes into work looking homeless. And so there's like an inverse dress code where you kind of earn the right to dress crappy as you move up, and the new hires have to wear khakis and tucked in like button down shirts. And it's like the thing about prop trading is that you don't have investors or clients. You're basically trading the capital of the founders or the partners. So basically, who are you dressing up for? You're only trading in the markets. You're just trying to make money. So you're dressing for the other people at work. So the new people have to kind of like dress well for the other people at work. And then once you move up, you basically get to dress crappy, and you can prioritize comfort. And basically like this tipping point is when you make trader. You pass all these internal tests, and then they're like, all right, congratulations, we're gonna put you on this desk. And once you make trader, you can wear like a cap, like a baseball hat. Like I would wear my New York Yankees hat because I'm from New York. And it's kind of like getting a black belt. When you're moving up in ranks in whatever, karate or judo, like the cap is like your black belt. And when you show up to work, it's like, oh, bro's wearing a hat, like he made trader. So it's a really funny kind of concept, the inverse dress code. And you could wear like these ratty t-shirts. Like I would wear like those free t-shirts they give at job fairs and stuff, and wear these like crappy jeans and flip-flops in the summer. So yeah, my lifestyle, like during those summer years, they were so fun. I would go stroll into work in flip-flops, trade it up, making six figures, leave and go smoke with my buddy. Like it was just such a chill life. And I do miss that. That was like my ikigai, because trading firms don't really operate like that anymore. At least they're far and few between. They're mostly collaborative, and there's like stand-up meetings, and it's a lot of like coding and stuff. But yeah, those were the glory days for sure. All right, next point. Yeah, countercyclical. I talk about this in other videos, but yeah, it's a pro. You get to make your biggest bonuses when the markets are crashing, so you have money when other people don't have money, and you can you can buy real estate at really low fixed mortgage rates. You can buy stocks within the dip usually. And while everyone else is out of a job, and it's like a fire, like fire in a movie theater. There's like a bottleneck. Everyone's trying to like get out of the exit doors, trampling on each other. Like you're making your biggest bonuses, and you're outside of the exit door, like selling them water bottles for like $20 a piece. Just kidding. That's a really predatory example there. But then on the other end, right, when the markets are just calmly grinding up, you might have to deal with a layoff at work, but then it's fine because other industries are hiring. So you can transition to be a data scientist in big tech or something, So you're pretty much hedged on both sides. So being at a counter-cyclical industry is amazing. All right, con, waking up early. I'm not really a morning person, so this was a big con for me. Especially in Chicago, it's like freezing, and it's 1 hour behind New York. So it's, stock market opens at 8:30. And, typically these firms trade options on futures. Futures usually trade 24 hours, not counting between 4 to 5 p.m. So, but they start picking up in volume at like 7 a.m. maybe. But if there's like a number, like some kind of announcement, it might be, close. It might be like 6:30 a.m. So you're expected to be there at like 7 a.m. usually at latest. And so you got to get up at like 6 a.m. or so. And yeah, the sun isn't even up usually, and it's like so cold outside. You leave your warm bed to go into this like freezing cold, and it's like it's not for everybody, that whole like early morning schedule. But yeah, if you're a morning person, maybe you wouldn't mind it. All right, con, it's pretty much all men, though this is changing. But at least the pit trading centric firms, it's all men, and it's definitely a con. Like if you're a woman, it can be kind of like uncomfortable and toxic. Like one of the portfolio managers of one of my firms. One of the desks I worked at, she would go down to the pits, and they'd be like, saying all these like pervy things to her. Oh wait, there's like an animal over there. That's crazy. Oh wow, it's like a coyote. Whoa, dude, Arizona. Anyways, yeah, they would say all these pervy things to her, like, when can I fill your order, baby? Like just, I don't know. It's like girls don't want to deal with that, right? And yeah, it's like pervasive sexism and stuff. But even for a guy, it's annoying because there's no woman at work. So it's like, at least for the people who like to date within work, like that's kind of annoying, right? Like I don't do that, but I guess for some people they want to, there's fewer prospects. And if there's finally like a new girl at work, everyone's like, oh wow, who's going to chase after her? It's like, I don't know. There's other reasons too, but a culture that's all men is definitely not desirable. So that's a con. Pro poker tournaments. Yeah, there would be charity poker tournaments at like Ferrari dealerships and stuff, and you could there'd be like a limo that picks us up after work, and we'd all be like drinking. It's like open bar, and it's just so much fun, and almost every one of these trading firms have their own annual poker tournament, and usually this was a standard, at least in the last 10 years. The winner would get a free World Series of Poker buy-in, which is a $10,000 buy-in. So but I think as a condition they have to wear like the firm's like brand like on a hat or a t-shirt. And so it was so much fun. Poker culture is really similar to trading culture. It's a lot of like risk management, games of incomplete information. So a lot of people were big poker guys. It was fun. One year, one of our guys who came in first in the poker tournament, he got within the money. He almost got to the final table. And so he, while we're all trading at work, we have all those wall-mounted TVs playing like financial news. We switched it to ESPN to watch him play. And we're like rooting for him and stuff, So it's cool, the overlap between the poker world and the trading world. I like that aspect of working in prop trading. So that's a pro. Another pro, I should mention this way earlier, but like the outings are amazing. Like sporting events, brokers get us tickets to Cubs games. They're usually like the very front row on third base. I don't know why even at different firms, they always had that front row on third base. I don't know, it's like a broker thing. You get access to like the VIP lounge where there's like all this like free food, steak, unlimited drinks. Yeah, like, when I was single, like it was a great flex when you go on dates and stuff. You just get these tickets for free. So, you just bring a Tinder date there and she's so impressed. And, you get tickets to Bulls games. The partners would get like courtside tickets, but we would get like 7 rows from the front. And we would get Blackhawks, Bears tickets. So like all the sporting events, we could get tickets like pretty regularly for free. We'd go to Michelin star restaurants. A lot of places have like monthly outings. One of the firms I worked at, we would have like a Michelin star dinner annually. We went to L2O, Sepia, like just like the best restaurants in the city. And they would rent out the whole place, or they would rent out like one room for the company. And it's a great time. Lollapalooza, we would get 3-day passes. They would be the VIP passes, so it's like cabana passes. And I've never experienced this before, but like the porta potties are fancy. It's like mahogany wood and stuff. It's weird. It's like a oxymoron, because it's like a porta potty, but it's like swanky. And there's like open bar, there's like all this like food, and then it's like elevated, so there's like a little balcony area, and it's right by the main stage, so we could see Lady Gaga perform on the main stage, but then we get to like look over this balcony thing. And I don't know, I was always worried about like crowd surgers and getting squished and stuff, so it's kind of nice to be able to look over the balcony and be like, like that meme of those like those like snooty guys like looking over the balcony. Like it was like that. It felt good. And then like big name celebrities would come perform. Like we had Train come perform for us. They sang like Hey Soul Sister and like Drops of Jupiter. I know Katy Perry performed for another firm. There's a lot of, you hear about this kind of stuff. So that's always cool. It's like a nice flex. It's like company small, so you can easily just go to the front of the stage, and just take pictures and videos of like 2 feet away from them. All right, non-transferable skill set. So especially if you're in the trading side, a lot of times your specialty becomes understanding the nature of that particular market. And, if the strategy you're trading dries up, then you no longer make money in that market. So a lot of times companies will just fire the whole desk rather than move you to another desk. It depends on the culture of the company, but a lot of places will do that. And it makes sense because they reason that you're kind of expecting bigger bonuses now, and you might have like trading habits from trading that particular product, where if they move you to a new desk, like those same things don't hold, and they want to just, get some young kid out of MIT and underpay him for the first few years, and that kid's going to pick up the new product anyways, and so they can give him smaller bonuses in the meantime, whereas you're expecting big bonuses by then. So there's a lot of reasons why trading firms will just fire you, but usually you have like a run. It's like being like on a sports contract, like as a pro athlete, you'll have like a good run, and then it can just end immediately. And people know this, so that's why they'll do an MBA. They'll, in the back of their mind, they know, okay, when my trading career ends, I'll just go pivot to do an MBA, and then pivot to another part of finance, like investment banking. And it's also, I think, why like Asian parents like push their kids into being a doctor, lawyer, engineer, but they don't include trader, because there's so much variance in the trader comp and the trader career that they don't like the instability of it. So yeah, and for me in particular, like I chose trading. I liked being a trader, but that situation happened to me. Like I was, most of my money, I went 4 years in a row maybe making like 500% returns, which is awesome. And most of my strategy was like this market making strategy where I would pretty much like, there was this big whale, like dumb money whale, that would come into the market and splash around, and just like I would basically hunt them down every day like Moby Dick. And just like he was just making these inefficient trades and like reaching for things, and I would just constantly be fading him and like scraping like thousands of dollars off of him every day. And that was like my whole strategy, just kind of like, you know, exploiting this trader, this whale. And he was in the market splashing around for years. And you know, one day he just went away. I don't know if he blew out or he retired or quit, but yeah, like my profits dropped by maybe like 80% once that whale left the market. And it sucks because I was actually on my way to trying to trade on my own. Instead of getting 20% as a cut, I was going to get 50% and have a backer. And I was working through that in the background and everything. And then this whale went away. And so I was like, now my profits aren't even worth it. So that's when I kind of pivoted into more quant researcher type stuff, partially because I didn't like the kind of instability of not knowing whether my strategy was going to continue making money. Whereas quant stuff is very transferable, right? You could be a data scientist in big tech. A lot of people need quants. So, you know, that's a more transferable skill set. But certainly for like trader, the transferability is a concern. And so even though you can get big bonuses, it's definitely a con, the fact that your skill set isn't necessarily going to be transferable. And last con, stress. People get yelled at. It's a high flying, fast paced, dynamic environment. And, you know, fortunes are being made and lost. And a lot of people, you know, they yell at you, they scream, you know, partners will yell, and a lot of people can't handle that. It's a very like stressful environment. And that's not always like that. It's usually just calm and, you know, there's not much happening. But when things are going crazy, yeah, things get really, people start screaming and yelling. And yeah, it's not for everybody, but it's definitely a con because, you know, it's an anxiety inducing. So yeah, I think that's my list here. So, you know, hopefully you learned something. If you want to try to break into prop trading, you know, I have a Patreon. Gonna plug the Patreon. I have a Discord in the Patreon where, you know, I have a career chat room where, you know, I can help you learn about the industry and how to break into it. So do consider that. All right. Well, thanks a lot. See ya. Bye.